Alright, so today's video I'm going to talk about 6 lessons that I learnt from running my digital marketing agency for the last 2 years and covering over $730,000 in expenses. Everyone talks about their revenue all the time, so I'd like to go in a slightly different direction and talk about my fucking expenses. So in a way you could say this video is worth $730,000. You're welcome. I'm not even monetized on YouTube yet, so you're getting this shit for free. Alright, the first lesson that I wrote is there are no business problems, just personal problems that are reflected in the business. So if you're really financially literate in your personal life, you're going to be really financially literate in your business. Like we had this stage where we got hit by a huge tax bill that I just was not expecting. And I lost sleep over it. I was like, how the fuck are we going to cover this? And then because when I was super stressed, you're in a hyper learning state, so I just dove into like, alright, how do taxes work? How is this calculated? How is this calculated? I built a dashboard so that if I had all my expenses and I knew like if I changed this expense, what happens down the line. And then I was like, oh, like this isn't that fucking scary. It was only scary because I didn't understand it, but you just had to shine a little bit of light on it to go, oh, not that fucking bad. And now we're in the best financial position that we've ever been in. Number 2, what gets measured gets improved. Now, most business owners, myself included, I find are very intuitive. And so you ask them a question like, what's your close rate? And they go, oh yeah, if I get someone on the phone, they close like 60%. And then we do some work with them and then we realize like, you are fucking not closing anywhere near 60%, bro. A good non-business example is tracking your calories. Most people think like, yeah, like I know I eat pretty well. And then they actually track everything to a T. They're like, holy fuck, I'm eating like way more than I actually thought I was. Same thing in business. What gets measured gets improved. Number 3 is I have a new perspective on stress. This is relevant to my first one. Running a business and, having a team, with part-time and full-time members, it's a little bit stressful because you're essentially responsible for like feeding 5 different mouths. And if you fail as a business owner and your business goes down, it's like, well, fuck, like it's like these people are relying on you to provide for them. And so there's that level of stress and responsibility that comes with that. And so you want to do well as a business owner to, essentially help provide for, your team members. Like the worst case nightmare scenario for me would be not being able to make payroll on one day. And we've never come close to going like bankrupt or anything like that, but I've definitely had stressful times. But one of the lessons I learned was like, all right, what's the actual worst case scenario? And let's say worst case scenario, like we actually do go bankrupt or something like that. It's just, all right, well, everyone's really talented. They can go get other jobs. Like what happens to your business? Like, all right, you close it down. You just like get another job or you just start another business. Like I live in Australia, like if I'm unemployed, the government will literally pay me to be unemployed. It's not that fucking bad. Grow up. Number 4 is I have a new perspective on money. Now I had to be careful about how I talk about this one. And I want to clarify now, this doesn't come from a place of like ego or anything like that. So I just want to put that to rest now. But what I've found is there's no like end game income figure. I remember like 3 years ago, like I wanted to, like one of my big goals was I want to make $100,000. Like I want to be like 6-figure entrepreneur, And then I remember I did it and I had like a Google sheet and I was like, holy fuck, like I've actually done it. And then like that was ages ago and we make a lot more money than that now. And it was like the thing that I meditated on was that money isn't the goal, but it's the measuring stick. So I find much more reward in getting better at my craft and building new things that help the marketplace than I do the money that comes as a consequence of that. The money will come as a consequence of getting better at the thing. But for me, the goal is getting better at the thing. This just happens as a consequence of it. Number 5 is the value of radical transparency. I actually wrote this when I was journaling on after our company had hit its first birthday. I was actually talking to someone on the phone about it just a couple of hours ago, and I said, people are only disappointed when their expectations don't meet reality. And so if you're radically transparent, they always know what to expect, good or bad. And I found that one value of being radically transparent with people has always served me well in business and in personal life. Number 6, and the last one, is there's no shame in taking a break. So I would always sometimes feel this guilt, and I honestly still do, of like taking a holiday or anything like that. Because, as the business owner, you have that, weight of responsibility that, like I was just touching on, you're responsible for making sure everyone gets paid and making sure the business grows so that they can get paid more. And that's a lot of responsibility. And so I would always feel like, fuck, I need to work today. I need to keep going. The last holiday that I had, it was like, that was a fucking emergency. I left that to like the last minute. It wasn't even the last minute. It was like beyond that. I was like breaking down on my desk and trying to hide it from people and shit because I had so much stress from the last couple of weeks and months. And I didn't schedule out the break. It was a complete fucking emergency. And so yeah, one of the things I learned is that there's no shame in taking a break. And this touches on one of my previous videos where I said, if you don't schedule your rest, the recovery that you'll need as a result of that is a debt that will pay with like compounding substantial interest. So anyway, so this is 6 things that I've learnt from operating my digital marketing agency for the last 2 years and covering over $730,000 in expenses. I hope you find them useful and you can use them yourself, and have a nice day.